There we go. Charles, again, I appreciate you coming on, sir. We tried to do this before, but I slipped up. I was sleeping, but now, not this time. We're both here and I'm
That's
wide
it. You
awake.
gotta sleep, man. You have to get your sleep in. I could do this myself. It's nice.
I try. I do try, but it doesn't work out so well, you know? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had talked about it recently on this podcast. I go to sleep real late, you know? I'm
Hmm.
a night kind of guy, not a day kind of guy, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of the same, to be fair. Like I do. I mean, I'm starting to turn into a morning person, but I definitely feel like I flourish my most in like afternoon and evening. I can tinker for a lot until like the late hours, until like someone has
Right.
to like literally say like you should go to bed.
What when do you usually feel like, all right, I got to get up at this time at least? Like if you're pulling like a really late night, that you have to wait. Like, I got to wake up at this certain hour. What's that hour?
Yeah. It's kind of like now it's like 8. Like sometimes I can push it to 9, but like sometimes if I'm like super tired, then I'll probably go to like 10 or 11, but I'll still be like kind of like tinkering in bed or whatever, like checking emails or whatever. But yeah, it's kind of like right now it's 8.
Is this a good time for you? You're still moving and you're still doing it. You got like some momentum in you.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like one of those mad weeks where yeah, we've got like a few shows and stuff. And so I'm like just packing and getting everything kind of ready before going on Thursday. So I'm just like bouncing around the room right now, trying to get it all done.
What so I mean you're traveling for these shows then, yeah? You're out and about.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to Rotterdam for the first time to do like 2 solo shows with Noon Garden, and then flying back to the UK to do a show in Wales with Los Bichos and with my full band. So it's going to be like a double whammy.
I've never heard of that band, Los Bichos, but they seem okay. I guess
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah, they're
bassist
right.
seems to be a bit mean. I'll be honest,
Yeah, oh, definitely. No, she's horrendous.
just
I was
not
telling that you guys should have said hey.
just not
So
nice.
it's not nice at all.
No.
She sends her love, by the way.
Tell her I did say hello, but don't tell her that I thought that she was mean. I'll tell her that myself. I'll just
I'll
uh,
tell her.
just kidding.
Straight to her
Just kidding. You're the
face.
best. And go check out that episode if you haven't, because that was a good one as well. And I'm glad to get both sides of this relationship.
Yeah, yeah, she loves it. She loves it so much.
How many days are you going to be out on this next little run here you got going on?
It's gonna be Thursday, Friday, and then I fly back on the Saturday. And then meet them there in like the afternoon, like around like 5 or something like that on Saturday, and then we drive back to London. So basically back on like Sunday morning, like super early. So yeah, it's a nice little compact stint.
What do you what,
Yeah.
what what do you think you're gonna bring? You gonna bring some couple pairs of pants? Gotta have a couple pairs of pants. Like that's crucial.
Yeah, yeah, I got that. I got some socks, some
Yeah, I mean
some
socks are good.
mundane
Yeah,
shit. I don't know
there's
how
also.
cold or shitty the weather's gonna be there, but yeah, I'm just gonna just go with it.
Have you ever seen those people who like don't wear socks often? That always boggles my mind. I'd say how I don't know how you're doing it. I could never do it.
Or what, like just not wearing socks in general,
Like
or
tennis shoes, but just foot in the shoe, not no sock. You know what I'm
um,
saying?
I'm not really about that. Like, I'm not a sock person in general, but like, I wouldn't do that. Basically, I wouldn't. It would just feel so gross. It would get really sweaty and a bit like
Right.
I don't know. It's probably not even practical, like playing in that, right? Like you probably wouldn't be as fast.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not a
know.
tennis player, but
Yeah, I'll do it for like short periods, like at the beach or something like that, but
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
I'm not going out. Like if I'm gonna go see a show, I'm gonna put on socks. That's the whole point of this whole thing I'm trying to say here.
That is it. No, yeah, like you got to be comfortable. Like I kind of did it today because we had to move some furniture like out of the apartment, and I basically had to put on shoes without socks for like it was only 10 like 30 seconds at the most,
Yeah.
and
Okay. Sure.
I was
Sure.
struggling with it.
Yeah.
It was all right. Made it work.
Are you like a sandal person at all sometimes or no?
Yeah, I feel like I'm mainly a sandal person. I grew up in the Middle East, so it was just constantly just hot out there, and like your footwear has got to be like just you got to let your feet breathe as much as possible. So that was kind of just my vibe, like out there, just wearing socks and sandals. No socks, just sandals and flip flops. Flip
You're
flops. That's it.
you're just
That's the
going
big one.
crazy with it. You say no socks with the shoes, but socks with the sandals. This whole thing is turning around.
It's too much. I would not do that ever. Socks and sandals just doesn't make any sense. But if
No,
it
it
works for
doesn't.
you,
That's fine, but you are a psychopath if you do that. It's I mean, that's
yeah,
just those are the rules. You're going against society
I'm
in that
glad you
way.
said it and not me. Yeah.
I'll go on record with it.
Yeah.
How do you feel right now leading up to these couple of shows you got going on? What's your mindset right now?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a few it's been like quite a busy year of music, like doing my solo stuff this year for the first time. Um Playing with Los Bichos and my other band as well. So it's been quite busy and pretty full on, but it's all been like super enjoyable. So this is like the last like stint of mad shows, and then it really kind of like calms down like end of November. So kind of just trying to make the most of it as much as I can, and yeah, just trying to get
Definitely.
the sleep where I can.
All right. Well, I mean, you're waking up at 8 o'clock. You're a late riser. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a
Um,
10.
did you ever think that it was gonna get this busy in 2022? I mean, did you ever think like, oh, I gotta do this, and this? Just I mean, constant momentum like this that you're having right now?
Um, I mean, not particularly. I kind of expected to do like a bit, but yeah, it just kind of has just had like a nice kind of like snowball effect since the beginning of the year, which has been nice. And just jumping between different projects, especially after like obviously not doing it for like 2 years.
So why'd
Um,
you take off that time? What you just kind of took some time off of music personally? You just didn't want to do it or something?
yeah, that's basically. I was just like, I'm done. Like,
Yeah, 2020,
and
2021, you didn't want to do it. Yeah.
yeah,
It seems like a lot
I
of
was just
bands
like,
just didn't want
nah.
to get out there. Yeah.
No, it was weird. Everyone just had that same mindset for like a while, but it was
Yeah,
crazy.
shows were just not going on. Yeah. Odd.
Nah, man. At the same time, it was like, nah, man. Like, never good.
Pretty crazy.
It was basically that. Yeah, but it was pretty much just like it did come at a semi good time where it's just nice to actually not have to tour for like a bit. But after having that breakaway, it's felt really great to be back out again,
Do you feel like
doing
you're
stuff.
pushing yourself more and more now since that little gap there than ever before?
I feel like, yeah, definitely. It's kind of like making up for like lost time in a sense, and just throwing yourself into all the like festivals that we used to go to and venues and seeing the same places again, or places I hadn't seen in like, 3 years. And it's felt so nice to be back in those places. Yeah, that's been sweet.
That's awesome. I feel like you don't like it as much as you're saying you do, but that's okay. You know, that's for the people to
Yeah.
decide.
Does he really like it, or does he just hate it like
I
so
feel like
much?
I mean he's a sandals and socks guy. I can't take him seriously
It
for
can't it
anything.
can be trusted.
No
Yeah.
way. Absolute menace.
No chance.
When did you start making music? When did you kind of take your first step into the music world?
Um, it was. I mean, I kind of started quite young with like my best friend from school, kind of just learning guitar. And I don't know, it's kind of like what you do on a playground. You kind of like want to do what your friend's doing. So I was like, this actually sounds really fun and like cool. And my older brother plays guitar as well. So I just did like a lot of noodling as a kid. I was horrendous for like ages, and then just still kept wanting to just teach myself how to play. Um, and then yeah, like just got into a band in Bahrain where I grew up with my school friends, and uh, we basically all of us from Bahrain moved over and continued into our other band Flamingods, which we still play with today. So we've just kind of just been like a step by step kind of thing of just staying in touch and just playing music with people from my childhood and stuff, which has been nice.
And it's still good on today. That's, I mean, that's got some longevity there. That's good.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it kind of makes it easy when it's like friends, like high school friends and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been
Sure.
fun.
You, this is the problem with friends that you know for a long time though. It's like they know everything about you though. So
Oh
that can,
yeah.
that can be
Oh
really
yeah, yeah. That was true. And it's just like we know like what our bands from school sounds like as well. Like since then we've just been trying to like suppress it and just delete everything we can like, from off the internet. Like we don't want anyone to hear that.
delete the
But
footprints.
it's part of the process. Yeah. Literally. Still want to know.
What kind of music were you first interested in when you started kind of developing your own taste within music itself?
um I kind of I mean, I went through such a roller coaster, but then it kind of really hit when I got into like the Mars Volta, um, when I was like 13, 14, and that really opened me up to like just different styles of like guitar playing. Um, and yeah, that's kind of where I got like my initial shots from, and then I kind of ended up sinking more into like psychedelic and indie sort of bands like Deer Hunter and Animal Collective. And yeah, like all those kind of like different genres started like merging into one thing. I was just picking out like different stuff from each thing and just trying to think of yeah where I could sort of see myself fitting into all that.
Do you feel like you found your footing within where you need to be in this, where you fit within this whole parameter?
Kinda, yeah. I feel like I never know because I like to change what I do a lot, like even like a subconscious kind of level. But like I definitely feel like if I ever listen back to my stuff, I can definitely hear traits of maybe where some of that stuff may have come from, like those ideas. Um, but yeah, it's always like constantly changing and like just the different ranges of music that I listen to these days. Just like I can't really tell like heads from tails anymore. There's like a lot of like crossovers as well from like different genres and styles of music that it could just literally be from anything now.
Which is good. And when music blends like that, sometimes it's good to be like, all right, well that's like influenced by that, and that this is all funneling down to the same thing, which is just music.
De- Definitely, it's especially when it comes from different cultures like Western, Eastern cultures. Like there's so many like crossovers that it's not like, and I mean sometimes it is like inherently there, like you can actually hear it and it's quite obvious, but sometimes when you find something kind of a bit obscure and you're like, oh well, that kind of maybe sounds like, like there's some Western influences from it, but they've kind of made it their own and vice versa. And no, yeah, it's quite nice to like connect the dots uh from time to time. I like to do that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. What was the first concert you went to? Very first one.
Oh my god. In Bahrain, there weren't that many bands or acts really passing through, but my first proper one I went to was to see that boy band A1.
A1. Okay.
Do you remember A1? Was it
No, I
they
no,
did
I
that cover
don't.
of
It's
They did that
they
cover
sound
of
pretty good.
Take On Me.
Oh,
Do you know that?
no, but I mean, I'm gonna look it up now. But yeah,
Oh my
was it as
god.
good
Yeah,
live as it
that
was recorded though when you saw him live?
um I don't know. It was literally like because there's not much to do in Bahrain. It's like, oh, that's something that we can go do and just hang out with for like a few hours. It was fun. It was all right. I had my first Red Bull. That's all I remember. it was cool, but yeah. And saw
How,
Craig David not long after that.
how did you like the Red Bull? How did it stick with you? Like, I gotta get more of this, or were you like, this is a one and done scenario?
I had it that one time and then I didn't have it for years, but now it's on our band rider. So we do just have like a fridge full of Red Bulls now. I'm not 100% sold on the taste, but for some reason it does just do the job, like before a show or something.
Do you do the regular one, or like there's a sugar-free one? I remember that it's kind of like a lighter blue and the metallic kind of coloring on the
Oh
can.
yeah,
Which one? Which
yeah,
one do you prefer? Or there's the new ones with like just red. It's just like red or yellow. It's a lot of different colors.
yeah. Man, yeah, there's a lot going on these days. I've seen those ones, but I do just go for like the classic blue, and it's a bit controversial, but like here at least they've got these really massive ones, like double the size, and I do from time to time get those, which is bad. Like you can feel your stomach just like destroying itself. It's quite brutal, but it does the job. Those early morning calls.
Do you ever do coffee or other like kind of beverages like that? Tea or
Yeah.
even Monster? You guys have Monster over there?
Ooh, yeah, we got Monster, but yeah,
No,
I
nah.
can't fuck with that. I can't do that. That's a bridge too far. Like Red Bull's where I go, but
That's the line.
that,
Monster's over it. Gotcha.
yeah, just a pinch. But I do drink coffee every day. It's good. Just tastes good.
Sure.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Um, going back to music though, Flaming Gods. That was like, so that was really early on. Like, since you've been doing it, I mean, you know these guys for quite a while now that you went to school with them and everything, or at least some of them. When did that
Hmm.
start? What year are we kind of talking about?
It was like straight into uni, like first year. There was like just early 2010. That's when we like first just started, and then just kind of went from there. Basically, just took a while to like try and find like what we were kind of doing. It was more just extremely like experimental back then, but then just kind of got more and more serious as the years went on. And yeah, uh, just been recording albums. We're actually just out there and out in the States in Atlanta, recording our last album, which was really nice. We did that back in March, yeah. It was really fun.
Did you
Love
ever
that
think,
place.
like in the beginning of creating the band, that you would be recording an album in Georgia? I mean, does that just boggle your mind?
Well, it does because like we basically worked with uh, a producer that we've always wanted to work with, and like and it's always been a dream to like go out to America, like especially growing up in the Middle East, and like having so much of like American culture like presented to you out there, and it's just like, oh man, I want to go to America, man, and just like just have like a little exploration. So it does boggle the mind that we actually got to just go out there and do it, and yeah, it was sweet.
Wow. That is awesome. Did you like Georgia? Did you like the state itself, or where you were around at least? Was it cool?
Yeah, it was just so like everyone there was just so nice. Uh it felt very familiar, which is quite strange. Like there's something about just the way people like live their lives was very similar to how people kind of like do stuff in the Middle East in Bahrain. don't know. I mean, it's like a lot of driving and like you got the malls and all that kind of stuff.
Getting
But
Red Bull,
it's
that kind of these kind of things that you do on a daily
these small
basis.
connections, yeah. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, it just felt very much at. I just felt very much at home there, which was nice.
That's awesome. How long did it take? How long were you guys out there recording this new album?
Like a month. Yeah, we just got like an Airbnb and just yeah, just basically just did the recording during the day and then just hung out with kind of like the crew that was out there, and they like showed us around, took us to these like amazing food joints, and yeah, it's just pure like bliss. It just felt it didn't actually want to leave. We're like, maybe we should just move here, just
Yes,
relocate.
so that's why you guys were moving earlier, moving the couch and stuff. You guys are taking stuff back to
Oh
Georgia.
yeah,
There, cool. Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah, we just thought might as well just do it now. I can
No,
get
it's
some
time.
socks there and everything. Yeah,
Known for their
hopefully.
socks, Georgia. Georgia known for their socks.
Mm.
Yes, it's the peaches
Thought so.
and the socks. That's it.
Yeah,
That
I
solidifies
have that
Georgia.
vibe. Sold it to me, sold it.
Um, and how many albums have you guys done, Flaming Gods? I mean, since starting it in, you said 2010, right? Ish, right around that kind of
Yeah,
era.
yeah, it's this will be our fifth.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's yeah, it's mad to think, but like yeah, it's like technically yeah, no, it is five because we did like some EPs and like some smaller kind of like bootleg kind of albums, but like this is like our official fifth one.
Wow. I mean, and it just to think it started as like just a couple, just kind of fooling around, and then to 5 albums. Do you take it seriously now? Is it time to take it seriously? Do you think?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like it's always been right. we've dug in deep now.
You're like,
Like
all
there's
right,
no
five
turning back.
guys. Seriously, let's start. Okay, it's time. It's not a joke
Let's do
anymore.
it.
We're just
Come on, no, yeah. We ain't fucking around here, man. We gotta do it. Just get everyone together. Sort your shit out.
it took 5 to realize, hey, we should actually. All right, this is. I
Yeah.
mean, this is cool, and let's actually make something of this. 5
Let's do
albums.
it, yeah. It kind of weirdly started off like that, where it's just like we're just having fun, but then it did gradually just get more and more serious, and then I guess we got more and more invested in it as well. And yeah, just been yeah, it's been nice just to look at like the progression of all of it.
How soon after starting Flaming Gods did you kind of start moving into your own thing, Noon Garden? When did that come about?
Um, it's kind of it was kind of always like parallel to doing Flamingo stuff. It was I kind of officially sort of started it in 2014, but I didn't really do anything with it for ages just because I was just kind of writing songs but not really thinking about what I should do with them or like if any of them are even like working together and stuff. It was very much a process of just collecting stuff and getting stuff ready and just kind of waiting for the right moment to finally start putting out music. So I had a lot of stuff on the shelf for years basically, and then it was only really until like the end of like 2019 I kind of felt like I had stuff that were sounding like they could actually work together as like a body of work. And so yeah, it's kind of been since early 2020 that I've actually been doing stuff for the project.
Right, that's when you stopped touring. You said, "I need to take a break. I need to work." That was the reason why you stopped in
That
2020
was it.
specifically. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
kind of work on your
that
own
was
solo
it.
stuff. Yeah, I mean, you got to carve out time. You gotta, it's
I
crucial.
mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I was trying to do well, I was technically doing both at the same time, but I knew that I would have to have like at least a good amount of time to properly delve in and just see like what the hell I was trying to do.
Right, right. And
Yeah,
then you're like, I'm gonna stop, touring and going to shows and everything and just solely work on that. That's why you guys stopped. Was in
yeah, yeah,
2020, 2021. That was it. Not anything else.
Just a
Not
U-turn,
any other
nothing
outside.
at all.
It was just time. Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, 100%. And it was great. Just a nice little left U-turn. That was it. It was good. Works fine.
Yeah.
Completely fine, actually.
Where did the name come from? What Noon Garden? I as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta. It's intriguing. It intrigued me. Is that what you're trying to do with that title? Because I mean, I was in. The lure was there. I said, yeah, I'm gonna go for that.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, I don't know. I'm very much a fan of like exotic imagery, and just the way that words kind of sound together. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just two words that always sit well, and for some reason that just kind of very much encapsulated the kind of vibe and environment I wanted the music to like live in that I
Like
make.
Red Bull
Like,
or something like that. Something that goes well
it
together.
goes really well together. It does. That actually does work really well.
It does. It does. I gotta actually take this time, Charles, real quick. Red Bull, thank you for sponsoring this. I appreciate it. We're gonna send you out a couple cases of the big ones that you love to drink. That
Please,
you're a
and
big fan of.
could I also get the car? They got these cars here with like the
With the
Red
thing on it.
Bull
Mm-hmm.
thing. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I've been wanting one of those for a long time.
we'll do it.
So yeah, just see what you can do. It's fine.
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, it's. But do you, yeah, I'll just send it to the Georgia house. That's
Yeah,
that'll be
no, that's
easier for
fine.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I've got that address somewhere.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah,
Good. All right.
I'll send it.
We'll send it over to
Cheers,
you. Yeah.
man. Thanks.
Thank you, Red Bull. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
thank you. Thanks.
proud sponsor of this podcast here.
Cool. So cool.
But the name Noon Garden, it really does roll off the tongue very well, and it evokes imagery within thinking about it. Everybody's been up and experienced noon, and everybody's seen a garden. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. It's two familiar places, hopefully, for people.
great place to drink Red Bull. Red Bull.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
had to mention that one. I had to.
Just in case.
I mean, they're a
In case,
sponsor.
like, you know.
It's a sponsor. I gotta appease them somehow.
You got like a certain amount, but you gotta say it before
Yeah, I mean,
I
like
didn't know what would happen, but
the ad will sit here for the Red Bull. It's
Mhm.
and that takes up about 45 minutes of the interview. So
see.
yeah.
So
So
this is going to be about like maybe 5 minutes. Or...
we only have 3 minutes left, so let's just get this out now.
I see. Okay.
Did you feel that Noon the music that you were making with for under the name Noon Garden was a departure from Flamingods, or just a little bit of a kind of different avenue to take through music itself? I mean, like, because what I've heard, and this is my take on it, and please tell me what you think of it. There is some aspects that are shared between both projects, but it is different in their own respective ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of Flamingos that's just been naturally like imprinted onto me from how long we've been doing it, that there's always so much that's kind of informed Noon Garden. And I feel like a lot of what I've been doing over the years has like made its way into Flamingods, so that they've kind of constantly always had that kind of relationship and just been kind of like influencing each other slightly, which has been, it's been nice. But yeah, I can definitely hear a lot of Flamingo's influences in the project.
Mm-hmm. What is the
I've got like some members that join as well. So
oh wow,
yeah.
I mean, that's gonna
Nice.
you gotta you can't
Keep it in
can't
the
be doing that
family.
all on. Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah.
Guitar, you got your drums.
It's
You got
tough. Yeah.
too many
Can't
things
do it
to
all
do.
myself, man. Exactly.
What is or is there a key difference between Noon Guardian and Flamingods? Is there like a key aspect that really differs from it? I mean, is it that you're at the helm of Noon Garden? It's like you're driving it, or
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like with Flamingods we're more uh what's the word? I mean I feel like we use a lot more like exotic instruments, whereas like and like we really try and push the boundaries like sonically of what we're doing. Whereas I guess New Garden's a little bit more kind of it's kind of got like a more exotic kind of focus on its sound, and like it's got kind of like a little bit more poppy at points. And yeah, like the influences are kind of more towards that than like this kind of like soundscape, like super explorative, percussion heavy stuff that we do with Flamingods. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like with both projects that we're always constantly changing our sound. So I feel like there might be a point where it kind of just loops and actually ends up being like almost parallel. You know what I mean? But
Venn
you
diagram,
never
and it's
know.
just the circle gets bigger within the two circles. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna get outrageous.
Until it just merges. It just merges into like a bigger circle.
That's yeah. I'm like in a super band with my own band. Just like
Wow.
great. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't even know if that ever happening before, but you're just covering new ground now. You're making your own
Yeah,
thing happen.
I've tried my best.
Talk about exploration within music. I mean, that is it.
It's outrageous.
Yeah. Do you is there like a different energy when you play by yourself and when you play with Flaming Gods? Is there kind of a different energy within the crowd itself, or is it more or less like kind of the same vibe that you're getting from the audience?
Yeah, there's like I guess it's interesting for me because like I do some vocal stuff in Flamingods, but Kamal's essentially the main uh vocalist there, and so he's usually at the front and stuff. And so now I'm kind of at the front for Noon Garden. So it's kind of like it's a bit of adjusting, getting used to that, and yeah, it's just like seeing the crowd in a different way because I don't usually like to look at the crowd ever, but like I feel like now that I'm at the front, I just see it like a whole lot more, which is just like it's quite interesting. But like it definitely feels like there's a similarity in vibe in terms of like people's like movements and like reactions to it. And like we try to make the live show with Noon Garden like a little bit bigger than what it is on record. And like just make it like a little bit more jammy at points and take the songs in like these kind of wig out sort of areas, which is what I like to see live at least. And so it's quite fun to see the audience react to that. It's
Sure.
fun.
Did you feel like that was going to be the case before you even started performing the songs for your album live, that you're like, we got to build it up a bit more than it exactly what you just said, like build up a bit more than what it is on the record?
Yeah, I just feel like I sometimes do like when I see a band play with the record as is, like live. Like I feel like sometimes that can really work, but like I just always feel like I always feel like it gets something more when it's like more of like a bigger show, and then you get time to really let the songs breathe and like have fun with it more live than on record. Um, so yeah, it was kind of always in the back of my mind that it would have that kind of aspect to it. Um, and it was weird because I never got to really play the songs live before recording them. So I think that was like an extra edit thing. I was just like, like I've kind of written it for a studio for an album, but like I'm probably gonna have to like dismantle the songs and make them work for a live setting. So it's just been like a lot
Sure.
of exploring that, which has
How
been
how
fun.
yeah, I was gonna say, how was like the first time kind of venturing out and doing those songs live the very first time? Were you like nervous to do it, or were you like, we'll just see how it
Oh
goes kind of
yeah.
thing, hands off
No,
on
I
it? Like,
was. I was pretty nervous just because, like, yeah, just like it's your first project. Like, it's kind of it's my project, and so it's like you're just kind of laying bare to like all different sorts of people, and like for the first time, and yeah, just trying to make it work live, and sometimes it feels like it just takes a while to actually figure that out. But I do remember being really happy with how the first like debut show went, but it's just very much like just gauging like what works and what doesn't work, and then just constantly tweaking. Like I usually like to record almost like every show that I do just to listen back and just make sure I know like what's kind of like seems to be doing its thing and what I could do better next time, kind of thing. So it's like a little journal report for myself.
Yeah, all right, listen. We got to listen back to this. We got to see what they're feeling, what they weren't feeling. You're like a comedian. You're like recording your set. You know, like, all right, that one went well. That one not so much. I got to tweak this. I got to tweak that kind of thing.
I do want to get used to the silence more. Like I don't usually like having the silence in the set. Like cut a song and then like the just like this gap before the next song.
Mhm.
But I like it to have like this kind of like stream of like kind of sound even when it's quiet. But like I've been trying to like embrace the super silent bits more. Or like yeah, just try and get used to it. But I don't know.
I was just trying to give you a little taste of the silence right there, just so you could get used.
Oh my god. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad.
You did
I
so
wasn't sure if
well.
you froze or not.
No, I was just like,
I
all
wasn't
right,
sure if you.
we're just putting you to the test, man.
Oh.
Just a little taste of it.
Oh, now I don't know anymore. I don't know.
You mentioned that you really hadn't played the songs live, maybe not even ever some of them before you started recording it.
Never.
Wow. Um,
Yeah.
so in that sense, and looking at it now, does the songs that you're playing, does it still kind of feel new? This whole project still kind of feel fresh in that sense of like, I haven't really played these all that much, and they just came out relatively recently. So does it still
Mm-hmm.
feel fresh in that way?
It does, yeah, to a point, because like a lot of these songs, well, not a lot, but like a handful of them have been since 2014. So I've lived with them for like a very, very long time. And like I've always wondered like if I am gonna like tire of them, but like it's kind of interesting now that I'm doing live shows with them that it's breathed a whole bunch of new life into them. Like beyond the recordings, like I'm playing it and it feels different every night. So in that sense, it feels very new. But yeah, it's kind of like now that I'm doing the songs live and also working on new stuff, that it just feels like everything's kind of at a good place right now. Um, and yeah,
Because there's so
so
many
far.
moving parts, you're not gonna like focus on one thing or the other. It's just like, yeah, I'm working on this,
Yeah,
but I'll jump over here and do that, and then come back to this whenever, right?
that's it. Like I'm not staring at like 24/7, like as I was like when I was like recording it. Like I get to have like breathing room uh, with it now, which is nice.
The songs that were kind of shelved in 2014 ish, when you started kind of just rough kind of skeleton of these songs, did they take a whole new form when you brought them back to this project right now? Did it just take a whole nother direction with some of them, or some of them kind of like, yeah, this is what I kind of intended it to sound like, and we're kind of going down this path?
Yeah, like definitely. It was kind of like there was like a spark of like an idea, but then there was something about it that just didn't feel right at the time, or like it wasn't in the right place to like give this song what it needed at the time. And there was a lot of elements of like mixing and producing that I kind of knew the songs needed, and I kind of needed to get a handle of that first to really kind of get the ideas I wanted like out of the song. So it was kind of like a lot of like just putting it on the shelf, like knowing that if I still like it in 5 years, then I'll do something with it. And then just try and like make it sound like what I hear in my head. So there was a lot of like, just like, it's not the right time. I'll do this at some point, and just try and make it work. And yeah, quite a few from that time did make it on.
Wow. I mean, that's interesting that multiples of shelved songs kind of made it on. I feel like sometimes when I talk to other people, other musicians, they say, "Yeah, I brought something that exactly what you said. I shelved it like a few years ago and I brought it back." But I don't really hear about a lot of people talking about multiple ideas being brought out and then
Yeah,
being repurposed at on the same record.
yeah. It was like with this album in particular, it was very much like I kind of wanted to make like a through line of what I've done up until this point in my life, and like part of that was like acknowledging the songs I'd written like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and see if there's like a kind of like something in there that kind of just tells like a narrative of everything I've kind of been through. And so a lot of that was like kind of like just honoring some of the ideas that I thought were cool and I thought were still cool up until this point, and just seeing if I can make it sound cohesive,
Wow.
at least for
That's
myself.
the debut record of Noon Garden. And please tell me if I pronounce this wrong, but is Buella Spa, right? Buella Spa?
I've
Yes.
never heard it said like that before,
Oh,
but it's
fucked it up. All right, take
I
two.
love it though.
How do you
That sounds great.
I didn't know.
Buella.
I didn't
That's
know how
it.
to
I mean,
pronounce it.
no,
I'm
yeah,
sorry, Charles.
it's a very tough one.
It's
It's
been
a
a
very tough
pleasure. Thank
one.
you so much. I'm taking off.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool, man. It's Beulah. Beulah.
Beulah. Okay.
Beulah, yeah. It's apparently a Hebrew word for wedding. Um
Okay.
or marriage. Marriage, that's it, yeah. Uh but yeah, it's
In
just the name of a
spa,
place.
what is
But
what does that one mean? Spa? I'm not.
spa. Oh, it's kind of like I wouldn't even know how to describe a spa. Just a hot room, like a
Hot room. Okay.
relaxation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Soapbox standard.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Cool.
Sounds nice. It really sounds nice. No,
Yeah.
that is the debut album that we've been speaking about and we haven't even mentioned before. And I when I mentioned it, I fucked it up, but yeah.
So,
How how long did it take to record that album though? How long was the time duration between like, all right, I got to start recording this to when it finally came out?
um, it was like a slow burn, and like started technically in like 2018 to properly like dig into it. But then again, I kind of took a few breaks and stuff, but properly wrapped it up in 2020. Um, and then yeah, just from there, the whole process of putting out an album just takes like so long, but it, it finally happened.
Especially right
Yeah, I
now.
made it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, exactly. There was yeah, it did take a while, but I was kind of happy to let it take as long as it needed to. I wasn't in any particular rush. Um, yeah.
now what did you work on this with other people or was it just like just you kind of hands on rewriting stuff that needed to be rewritten and writing new stuff and such like that?
Yeah, it was mainly just me on my own, just trying to figure it out. But I did get my bandmate from Flamingods, Karthik, to help me with some electronics and stuff, and just some beat kind of stuff and some transitions. And my friend Alabaster de Plume, who's this amazing saxophonist here and spoken word artist, like he played on one of the tracks, and just yeah, just had so much fun with it. And yeah, that was pretty much it. I feel like just consulted with like a few friends and stuff. But it was a very like insular kind of like process.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome. That, I mean, so it's, I mean, a little bit of help from here and there, but it was mainly you, just doing this.
Yeah, it was, yeah, it was interesting just because I just had always collaborated, obviously, through Flamingods and another project, that it just felt nice to just have like this one thing I can just like, just have fun with and just see what happens.
Jump right in on it. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, sweet.
During your break from touring that you really desperately needed.
Oh yeah. Bloodshot eyes. It was mad.
That you demanded. You said enough Red Bulls.
Demanded.
To work.
Yeah. Just cut it off. That was it. I got onto sparkling water instead. Like that. That was wow. A big. That was a big shift, and I'm still on it now. Like,
and I don't recommend that. What I do recommend is Red Bull. Again.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
no.
I gotta mute that out. They're gonna get mad at me. We don't drink sparkling water around here. We only drink Red Bull. Gives you wings.
Supersize. Gives you wings. Yeah. Supersized charger version.
I was waiting on you to say it because I was like, I thought you were just gonna jump in. We're trying to get you the little Mini Cooper thing with the
yeah, no
thing on the top.
I forgot the tagline. I wanted that bad, man. I want it.
What was your writing process like for this album? The kind of stuff that you just developed all on its own for this new record, not this kind of stuff that you shelved, but the brand new types of things. How did you approach kind of writing that?
I mean, a lot of the songs that I write come from basically being out on the road. Like, it's kind of where I feel the most inspired. So literally like driving, that I kind of just had like, it's always like this process of hearing it clearly in my head and then having to voice record it, like sing gibberish literally into my phone until I have like time to get to like a laptop and I can just kind of like do like a demo, super rough demo version. And then usually I'd get home from like a tour or whatever, and then I can actually start basically having like this butterfly moth effect where it starts off as like a demo that's really rough and then replace it with something that's like sounds like a little bit better, and then it just has this whole like transformation from that kind of like really rough sketch to that. But that can usually take like ages and a lot of refining, but it very much just starts with like a voice note or like a little Logic MIDI kind of thing or whatever.
That's awesome. That's super bare bones into, I mean, what the final product. And this is all recorded at your house, right? You home recorded, or did you go to the studio for this?
Yeah, well, for this record, it was mainly all home recorded. Yeah.
Do you prefer to record at home or in a studio? I mean, because obviously you've done both. Did you feel like you needed to record this specific album at home?
Yeah, it was kind of just, it was the most convenient option because like just from like a financial standpoint, I was thinking like I could go into the studio, I could do this, I could do that, but it's just like if I do have everything like right here to make it sound like I want to, like I'm gonna just try it out and just see what happens. And yeah, and obviously I haven't been in the studio with Flamingods and stuff, like I kind of had that at the time, and it kind of felt more fresh and fun to try and see what I can do from like the comfort of my own like place basically, and just see what can happen. It was quite nice. Like again, it was that very like insular being at home, just kind of just figuring out what I wanted to say and do. And yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. It seems like it would be a whole nother kind of feeling towards making an album, because you're kind of comfortable, but you're not comfortable at the same way because you're like, I'm putting these ideas out into the world,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
yeah,
pretty wild.
yeah, and it's very much like you're just owning it, whether or not it does well or not. It's just like kind of this is what I wanted to do, and just like just be happy with it. And by the end of the process, I could safely say, I'll say, you know what, I've done that. I'm very happy with it. I can put it out into the world, even though there's always that fear, especially when it is just you. It can be a bit like nerve wracking and terrifying, but
Sure.
there is
Yeah.
a bit of fun with that at the same time.
Yeah, it's like
Over
if it
deep
works
end,
out, it's on you, and if it doesn't work out, well, whatever. But it's still
it's
what you
on me
wanted to
too.
put out. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been an interesting experience. I've never done anything like this before, like going solo. And there was definitely a bit of fear to it, but there's also like this inherent drive to want to do that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. Is it crazy to look at a hard copy of the record and be like, wow, like that song was basically just recorded here, like where I'm looking at it right now, and it's on this. I mean, that must be a wild
Yeah,
feeling.
I mean, I do remember when we did actually. I did actually get the that vinyl for the first time. I mean, I was so fucking like destroyed and tired because we had a bunch of shows and stuff going on that I do remember just holding it and being like, damn, like I actually did it.
It
Like
fucking happened. Yeah.
it's actually out, yeah. And it felt good, but it did just take a while to like process it. And yeah, it is a really nice feeling when you can say that's happened.
Wow. Uh, how do you how would you describe Noon Garden's music in its simplest form?
Um, I've I've been calling it sunshine psychedelia at the minute, just because it very much encapsulates what I'm trying to do, which is just very much for it to be like this very vibrant, like, sun-soaked
Warm,
sound that
definitely.
very, very warm, yeah. And just that's what I'm always like striving to feel like just in life in general. And like I like when music can make me feel like that. So I'm definitely striving with that, with like the sonic kind of sound of this album and stuff I do, like beyond this. Always gotta have that kind of like through line.
Sure. Absolutely. What is I mean, are you able to pinpoint like an aspect of creating music that kind of lends itself to feeling like that? I mean, is there something that really pops out like, yeah, and that's what makes it, you know, feel
Uh,
good?
yeah, I don't know. I feel like because I use like a lot of. I mean, I don't know if this is even the right answer, but I use quite like a lot of delay with what I do, and that for some reason like always kind of gives it like this kind of warm psychedelic touch to it.
Sure.
I feel like if I ever do anything with that, it kind of puts it in the ballpark. But yeah, it's a good question. I don't actually know.
I appreciate it. I try to get one in. I always say this. I try to get one in per episode. A good question.
One good question.
One at the tail end of it. So
Yeah.
pedals. So pedals is the answer to that.
Yeah. Oh man, that's been great. It's so good.
Um, what what drives you to make music? What is the thing you're like, I just got to do it? What is that thing within you?
It just feels good. Like genuinely. I've just always have a great time doing it. Like I think I've found in the past that if I'm not doing it in some kind of form of capacity, like I do end up being quite like noticeably more sad or like just bummed out in general. It's like, what's wrong with Charles? It's like, oh, he's done music in like a while or something. So I feel like yeah, it does just make me feel good. And whenever I'm in like a bit of a funk, if I do play something, it's like a sort of like a form of therapy ish, where you just end up feeling like super nice like afterwards. Um, yeah, I'd probably say that's the drive for me. Just always feels great. And getting to see places and stuff is just really really fun.
So
Hard work,
you
obviously. But
I yeah, you obviously hate the music and you hate
yeah,
touring and all that stuff. Yeah, really against it now.
yeah,
Charles,
exactly.
that was, let me tell you this, that was a great answer. All right. Let me just reciprocate that response that you gave to me. I gave a great question a little bit ago. That's a great answer. And Charles,
Oh,
I thank you for sitting down with me. And I'm so glad that we were able to do this. But before I let you go, I got some promo stuff for you. Okay. So
oh,
Charles's
Red Bull.
new Noon Garden album. You say the first word because I don't want to screw it up again. I don't want to botch it. I don't want to botch this title. What is it?
Uh, Beulah, Beulah
Beulah
Spa.
Beulah Spa. Streaming everywhere, right? That's wherever the people listen to their music. That's where they can find it. Awesome,
So
awesome,
yeah,
awesome. And the people can buy the record, right? Physical copy. You can own these songs that we've been talking about that were recorded in that room. There's got to be at least one in that room. At least one.
not this room specifically, but
All right. Songs that weren't recorded in that room specifically.
close enough.
Very close to the room that it was
Yeah.
recorded in. The people can the people can find that at noongarden.com, right? That's the best way. And you got signed ones. You got signed copies. So if you want to
Yeah.
go buy it. Very, very cool that you signed a few, and I believe that those are a little bit of those are still. It's very limited. So if you want to jump on that, jump on. Yeah.
Can't
In
exactly remember how many there were, but yeah.
a limited amount. That's how many there were.
A limited amount. Yeah, exactly.
And the people can stay up to date with the tours and shows and everything else by following you on Instagram, right? That's the best place.
Definitely, that's probably where I'm most active.
Yeah, noon.garden on Instagram. It's at noon.garden. That's the best place, right?
That's it. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it.
Good deal. Good deal. And Flamingods music streaming everywhere as well, right?
Yeah, it's all the usual suspects areas.
Awesome. And the people can stay up to date with them in that band at Flaming Gods Music on Instagram. It's at Flaming Gods Music, all one word on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Charles, did we miss anything? Do we gotta plug anything else?
No, I don't actually.
Are you
know.
sure? Are you positive? Are you positive we don't have to cover anything else?
I mean,
Red Bull.
Red Bull. Yeah, exactly. It gives you wings, right?
It gives you wings. It gives you wings.
It does give you wings. I don't know why that was a question.
Yes. Thank you, Red Bull. All right.
Charles. Thank you, and please get me that Mini Cooper. That's
we're working on it.
Only thing I'm
working on.
Thank you.
Charles, I'm gonna talk to you in a minute, man. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna talk to you in a minute. All right.
Yeah.